Everyone, Gil here at Gray Man Prepping. For the Prepper Pantry series, I'm going to start out here with I've already done some other little minor ones, but I'm going to do a actual recipe here for you. So what I got here is I got a crock pot. I have 1 quart of V8, and this is almost 2.5 pounds of stew meat. I got some hash browns, a little container of hash browns. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a beef and potato stew. You know, all this stuff is shelf stable. This will keep for, let's see what on the lid here it says, still have another 1.5 years to go on it. So this is stuff that you can keep for a couple of years in your, either on your shelf, or you can freeze this beforehand. Or once this is all made, you can can it in canning jars, pressure can it, or you can put it in freezer containers and freeze it. So I'm going to start out first by putting the quart of V8 into the crock pot. And rinse that out later. Then I'm going to put in the small container, which is, what does it say here on it? Yeah, 4.5 ounces of hash browns. It's just about the amount that just works kind of right. And I'll put it at the whole top here. In here, get it turned on now. I'm going to turn this on low and just let it go for several hours, because the meat is going in raw, so it's going to cook the meat in here, so it's got to go for several hours. So there, that's going in there. Now I'm going to cut this up into small bites here. A piece like this, no, it's too big. I'm going to cut that lengthwise and a couple small pieces. That way when you're spooning it out and eating it, it doesn't, you don't wind up getting a big old piece you got to chew here. So we'll go out here and just start cutting pieces up here. And you can cut it however you want, what works best for you. I like small pieces, that way there's nothing to choke on if you accidentally swallow the whole thing there in a hurry. Also works good for the grandkids to have small pieces too. This is just one of the ways I found of using the stew meat I pick up really cheap on sale at Sam's Club. Depending on how much you mind the fat or whatever that's on it, you can trim the fat off separate, put it off to the side separately, do whatever you want to do with it. Some of the pieces have a lot of fat in it, so I gotta cut that out, work around it. And so you can save the fat for something else with a little bit of meat in it for making something else, or if you don't want it, you can throw it away, feed it to the dogs, whatever. Oh, for those that are interested on the hash browns here, all right, there's 7 servings per container once it's all done. Let's see here. So you got per serving as package 60, so that's 420 calories for the box. The carbs is 13 grams of carbs times 7, so you can figure that out. And so, anyways, that's if it focuses on it, the information on it. Now you can change up the flavoring on this. You can actually add some better than bouillon or some bouillon cubes or something to give it a little, a more intense flavor. Or you can leave the potatoes out and just cook it in the V8 and use it as a base for other things as well. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up here a little bit and that way you don't have to watch me cutting it all. So we'll actually I'll just pause it and we'll come back to it. All right, so I got the meat all cut up, and in here, well, not all of it, I used 1.5 pounds in here because it was getting kind of full, and this was getting kind of thick, so I added 2 cups of hot water to it. So it's still going to thicken up. This will be a condensed soup, so when you go to actually pull it out to use it, you'll probably want to add, you know, an equal amount of water to it. But I got some more stuff to add to it here, so I'm going to put in chopped onions. I'm going to put in I think half cup. Yeah, half cup. Here's what I got. Thereabouts. And granulated. I got granulated garlic. So I'm going to put in a tablespoon of granulated garlic. My son would probably put in 2, but I'm only going to put in 1. And this, I haven't opened this one up yet. My wife always, oh, I did. So it's opened up. So this is onion powder. My wife always says to put in a little bit more. You know, put some onion powder in when you, come on. There we go. About half a tablespoon. Even though you're putting the other onion in there, she said throw a little bit more in it so it gets into the meat a little bit better. So those are the spices being added to it right now. And get that stirred in there, mixed up good. I may need to add another cup later on here in a couple hours here. So I'm going to let this go ahead and start cooking here for a couple hours, and then we'll come back and check on it then in a couple hours. It'll only be a couple seconds for you, but that's what we're doing so far here. Alrighty, so get everything off of it here. Got some of the meat hanging up on here. There we go. And we'll just let it sit here for a couple hours. Alright, so I added a couple more cups of water to it because it started to thicken up really thick here. Of course, I was expecting that with the hash brown potatoes absorbing moisture and all the dehydrated onions and stuff. So yeah, it's thickened up a little bit. I also added 3 tablespoons of better than bouillon beef broth, beef bouillon to it. So it's lost a lot of its red coloring from the V8, but it's it's thickening up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on low and let it run overnight. And I got a timer set up down here, a timer mechanism, so that it'll turn on for half an hour and off for an hour, on for a half hour and off for an hour. It'll still stay safely warm and hot. I mean, it's hot. And so it'll be fine in the morning, and it should just about be done in the morning. I'll have to check to see how the hash brown potatoes, how soft they're getting, and how it all works out. So once this is done, I will put it in food saver bags. 2 or 3 cups per bag, and then I'll freeze it. That way when I want to make it up, I can just bring it out, thaw it out, add it to a pot, add equal portions of water to the condensed mix here, and I'll have a nice beef and potato soup. All right, so this one of the things I'm just showing you here is how you can use your food storage to make things other than what you originally planned for them with. So as always, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps and learn how to use them. Why? Well, this is why.